2024 was probably one of the single greatest years we've ever seen in the gaming space, while also simultaneously being one of the single worst years we've ever seen in the gaming space. I feel like basically every genre got both a great and horrible attempt at a game this year. Final Fantasy VII Part 2 out of 3 did have some pretty fun combat and funny mini-games, I guess. Unfortunately, the rest of the game was pretty bland and way too long. The most fun I had here was in stuff like the Frog Fall Guys game mode. This is like Fusion, this is like Froggy Frenzy. Alright, oh, the floor's going! Go, jump! No! Pepper Grinder finally came out and was fun the whole time, but was a little short. Hades 2 was pretty good, but isn't finished yet. Hopefully that'll come out this year. From the bit I played, it seems like it's more of the same from the first Hades, which for me, sounds like a pretty fun game. Sony poured $400 million into Concord. They were so sure this game was gonna succeed, man. They had CGI trailers, a whole TV show episode about it. I guess at the end of the day, Concord did go down as a historic game. We also had the Suicide Squad game, which, just go watch this video, cause holy shit. I love the Batman Arkham games. Rocksteady, you done fucked up here. Indiana Jones and the Big Circle, this game was not what I would have expected from an Indiana Jones game. It can't hold much when being compared to something like Uncharted. However, it's actually pretty fun. Get the fuck give me that shit. Who else wants some? You? Get over here. I'm doing what Indiana Jones does best, killing people. Give me that. Who the hell else wants some, Get the fuck, you, Come here. What else did we have? Stalker 2, that was pretty alright. Dragon Ball was pretty fun. I don't know nothing about Dragon Ball, but when you tell me 3D fighting game where you're launching people through mountains and buildings, I'm pretty much sold. Haiku the Robot, this was a fun little Metroidvania I found, seeing a lot of different influences here, but a stylized game like this is always worth my time. Silent Hill 2 Remake was one of the few remakes I think was well deserved. The original Silent Hill 2 is dated as fuck. This game has not aged well. This came out the same year as Halo, and if you compare this remake to something similar like that Resident Evil 4 remake last year, it's still super dated. But it bolsters a unique enough atmosphere to keep you engaged the whole way through, so I like this. Okay, first of all, let me quickly retcon my last lists. These things sucked. Here and here. Okay, 2024, let's go. Elden Ring 2 is the biggest DLC ever made. There is so much shit here, so many different weapons, abilities, and crazy-ass boss fights that were so visually stunning. You got big hippos, fat dragons, flaming snake man, element doggy that gives you a funny hat. The difficulty, however, is fucked. In the base game, there are more golden seeds than necessary for max flasks. In Shadow of Erdtree, there is an exact number of these scatter fragments, so you are not gonna find all these things, even if you use a guide. I got a love-hate relationship with Elden Ring, but I think on that 6th playthrough is when I was finally like, yeah, this game's pretty good, I guess. And Erdtree is definitely up there as one of the best FromSoft expansions. Goddamn though, that last boss was a pain in the ass. When I heard Metroidvania with no combat, I was like, huh? But what can I say, Animal Well was very good. The fact this game was made by one man is crazy. It has such a unique style, the atmosphere and mobility is so different from anything I've played before while being so simple. There are so many little secrets hidden all over this giant map for you to find. Instead of fighting goblins and ghouls, you're battling doggies and ostriches. I am very picky with Metroidvanias, but Animal Well was one that I thoroughly enjoyed the whole way through and was probably my favorite laid-back game of this year. Zelda Echoes of Erdtree might be my favorite 2D Zelda game ever. The idea of being able to duplicate any object or enemy to solve puzzles in unique ways is such a simple yet complex mechanic, and yet it has been implemented so perfectly here. For my money though, I just stacked beds to get past everything. Still, good game. Astro Bot is like a big bowl of Sony spaghetti. You never know what you're gonna get, but as far as 3D platformers go, this was definitely up there, with so many memorable levels. You got the elephant one, time stop level, shrinking level, goddamn ape escape level. It also serves as a nice reminder of all the IPs Sony owns and does nothing with. God damn it. I've never played Warhammer, I don't know anything about Warhammer, but this game's fun as shit. Overwatch 3 is a hero shooter done right. I've already poured way too many hours into this game, and I'm probably going to continue to this year too. But that's because it's just genuinely fun. There is no bullshit here, no roll queue, no loot boxes, it doesn't cost $40, most of the characters are good and actually fun to play, except Widowmaker, she still sucks, and no promises of a PvE mode going unmade. Uh-oh. When Dark Souls 1 came out, it changed the gaming landscape, so much so that now any game where you can upgrade your character at specified points and roll in combat is called a Souls-like game. Another Crab's Treasure is kinda like the first Crab-like game, where you get to experience what it's truly like to be a crab. If anything, this year proved to me that I like games like Dark Souls, but I love games that are like Dark Souls. Crab's Treasure was kinda like E-rated Dark Souls, not to imply it's easy, I mean this guy here will just grab you and stuff you in a guillotine to chop your dick off, but more so that it's simple and above all else, it's fair. You got a million different shells and abilities and weapons to choose from, the stylized art style is super nice, there's a bunch of unique looking areas for you to explore and do side content in, and every boss was extremely well put together and unique in its own right. Good game. When I first saw people talking about Balatro, I was like, I don't get it, it's just a bunch of cards. But then I played Balatro, and I was like,
oh my god. I get it.
In the endless realm of awaiting for non-existent Silksong news, 9 Souls came in this year like... Nine Souls is now my second favorite Metroidvania of all time. It's such a unique take on the genre, favoring more precise and thorough combat through things like parrying. It's complemented so well by its unique art style and mechanics. The movement, the areas, the enemies, the abilities, and the combat are so perfectly fine-tuned. Except these bow guys. Fuck these bow guys. The characters do a lot of talking. I definitely stopped paying attention to the story about a quarter way through, but the gameplay, man, this was exactly what I needed this year to satisfy my Metroidvania itch. And if you are at all a fan of Metroidvanias, 9 Souls is an absolute must-play. God damn, this game looks good, and it plays even better. Go play the damn game. Black Myth Wukong is a game that brings me back to a time where games were just non-stop fun, when developers were encouraged to push the bar on what's capable in the current gaming landscape to create new and exciting experiences. They weren't just all soulless cash grabs and unneeded remasters. Wukong is a non-stop action boss rush extravaganza. Where Elden Ring has 238 bosses in a map this big, Black Myth Wukong has 107 bosses in a map this big. You cannot turn a single corner in this game without running into a giant rat man that you must now do battle with so you can drink from his secret magic soup. Right out the gate, you are hit with one of the most insane opening boss fights in a video game. Battling this dude in the clouds surrounded by giants with a fully upgraded character, allowing you to familiarize yourself with the combat before the game sets you off into the world to start going ham. Every single boss fight in this game is some of the most fun, crazy, visually and mechanically insane ideas I've ever seen in a game. You fight giant frogs, big flaming bears, living minecarts, giant dragons. You fight a literal mountain. There's a section of the game where you go inside of a warthog man's stomach to battle a giant blood-bending praying mantis. There is an absolutely insane 4-phase boss fight where just when you think it's over, the boss goes, "Oh no, you thought we were finished. No, now you gotta fly up into the sky, turn into a giant stone monkey with ice fists, and have a 5-man kaiju battle in the clouds." Come on, man. How have you not played this game? You're able to fight a boss, beat him, put his soul in a cup, and then turn into him in another boss fight. There are so many different areas, enemies, abilities, skills, different builds, different upgrades, side content that supersedes a lot of the main story, and so many unique and memorable moments that are all somehow woven together to create what is probably one of the greatest action combat games of all time. This is not Monkey Souls, this is not Monkey Ring Shadow of Gerd Tree. Black Myth Wukong stands alone as one of the most unique and creative games I've ever played, and a good reminder of what the gaming industry is still capable of when they just try and make something fun. But next year we're gonna be seeing that Silk Song, am I right?
I doubt it!